Waiting. Okay. Jai. Are we on Radha Krishna? Oh, yes. Jai.
Make me the host.
Oh, yes. 1 second. Sorry. Which one? Bhanu Krishna Das? Okay. Make host.
No, Banu.
Okay. Okay, let me reclaim host. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Jai. Hare Krishna.
Very good. Okay. We're live.
We're live. All right. Let me make you host. Okay. Okay. So Bhanu Prabhu and we were discussing a lot of things that Ishan Prabhu has said on our WhatsApp group.
I'll be very glad to hear what you discuss.
Yes. So
why not do a whole rundown of that for the next few minutes?
Yes. So
and I will listen.
So a little insight about the conversation. I got his phone number through a devotee named Prahlad Das. He associated with him and he lived there. And he said, Ishan Prabhu wakes up early in the morning, chants his rounds. He has his deities. He does the service. And then I was like, wow. And then I learned that he engineered or he made the fiberglass, Mardanga on Prabhupada's order. That Prabhupada said, you Americans, you guys destroy the clay Mardangas. So why not make something that is more strong and more sturdy, that is not breakable? That order from Srila Prabhupada, and then he started working on it immediately. And then, he ran because Prabhupada to make it, and he was really interested in making it nicely. Prabhupada. So he basically went to. Oh, sorry. So he went to India, started the whole process, and it was very interesting. He said that Prabhupada gave him an instruction, and he followed through with this instruction, and everything became successful. By the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Krishna helped because Prabhupada had given him an instruction. So then we were having he became a devotee, and then many of the things we talked about in the League for 10K is discussed in it. So Bhanu Prabhu, can you elaborate some?
Like he was talking about Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttama.
Yes.
And he was also, just like Narayan Prabhu, he was also of the in tune and in agreement, complete agreement that only Prabhupada tune of Mahamantra should be sung and no other tunes. Like Prabhupada tune.
You see the testimony, Narayan Prabhu, from Bhanu Prabhu about the conversation?
I'm sorry, you have it printed out? I don't see anything.
No,
I have to turn on my video.
We are talking about the audio conversation that I posted. You can hear us or no? No.
I can hear you.
Can you?
He was talking about no one talks in ISKCON about the thing like.
Okay. Did you hear?
Should be meditating on Prabhupada. While doing our japa sessions, we should be meditating on Prabhupada, thinking about Prabhupada Guru.
Yes.
And doing our japa. So because
yes,
that way we would get in the mood of what Prabhupada had. We can access that mood. Many things he discussed in it. very intriguing and very.
Very nicely put. He also gave very nice shastic evidences with his own personal life. His,
Right.
how, he tied it in all together. Right, Bhanu Prabhu? He
Yes,
talked
sir.
about the Chaitanya Charitamrita, how we should cultivate that relationship of, Madhya Madhukari, coming up level of Madhya Madhukari. We should not just remain a Kanishta Adhikari all our lives. The internal relationship. And
Right.
then how are you going to go back to Godhead also?
So Prabhupada, he said that
Yes. So
Prabhupada
who's
was
watching this,
saying,
I'd like to recommend to and come to our WhatsApp.
Prabhupada, if Prabhupada said that even if
Is
one
my voice still
person,
cutting? Or it's
it is
now?
cutting. Sometimes it's not clear. Okay, Prabhupada was saying that even if one person goes back to Godhead because of the movement, this movement is a success. So it's not easy for a person to go back to Godhead. Yeah. It's not so simple. I mean, it's very rare that could happen among all the
Well-
people who have taken it up. Only a few.
I don't think that Prabhupada meant it like that. Because in other instances, he said, like the example of the ant, if I could chant Hare Krishna and give prasadam just to even one ant, then our whole movement is a glorious success. I think what he's saying is
Yes.
not that people will not go back
Yes,
to
that-
Godhead, but that even if only one goes back to Godhead, then it's a glorious success. And his
Yes.
intention is for everybody to go back to Godhead.
Yeah.
Yes.
He
That's exactly it.
demanded of me that I chant and be sure that everybody go back to Godhead.
Right.
Jai. What else do we remember?
Who?
Me and Banu from the conversation.
Oh.
He was also saying that Prabhupada is always here. We have to. What did he say, Banu Prabhu? About Prabhupada being always here.
It's like practically experiencing Prabhupada.
But we already know that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Prabhupada said many times
we know that with
our about not taking him like an ordinary person. He said many times in his many times in his scripture. He was saying that because we would be taking him as an ordinary person and saying and he was there. Prabhupada is not there right now. Just that we would be thinking on these terms. Therefore, he said the spiritual master is not like an ordinary person. He said that in his books. Therefore, he repeated that many times so that we wouldn't
even without his books
misunderstand.
Yeah.
Yes.
The relationship with Prabhupada is a matter of consciousness, not proximity. So he is present if you believe, if you want. I mean, even the Christians go that route that, Jesus shows up if you believe in him, sort of thing, So it's the same as certainly true for Prabhupada, and even more so. The thing we should get used to is that Prabhupada will historically be recognized as being far beyond Jesus, a million miles beyond Jesus.
Right.
Jai.
Now, just like
Amazing.
Jesus' disciples at the time thought of him as a really wonderful teacher and all that, but they didn't really. I think if they told him, did you know that Jesus will be worshipped by billions of people 2,000 years from now? They would say, "Oh, you're kidding me. That's ridiculous. You're going too far. I couldn't be true, you know?"
Right.
I'm talking about
Right.
the contemporaries of Jesus.
Yes. Yes.
So we should understand, or should try to understand, give ourselves the emotional and mental space to understand that Srila Prabhupada is beyond Jesus by millions of miles.
Yeah.
I mean, he's talking about Krishna Loka. Jesus was not, you know?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it would be like trying to compare Buddha to Lord Chaitanya. I said, well, aren't they both divine? Yes, but there's a difference. A very, very big difference.
Huge difference.
For one thing, Buddha is a jiva,
Yes.
and Lord Chaitanya is beyond even being Krishna. He's Radha and Krishna in one form. Right?
Yes. Yes.
So
Jai.
understanding Prabhupada as being present, yes, of course he's present, just like the Krishna is present. If Prabhupada is perfectly transparent by medium to Krishna, then anytime we chant Hare Krishna, we only can hear it via Prabhupada.
Yes. Yes.
That's why the Kanista Adhikaris who pose as initiating gurus are so way off track, because they see everything from the Kanista Adhikari platform. How can they not? They're Kanista Adhikaris.
Yes. Yeah.
So
yes, amazing. He also made that comment.
Yeah, great. Good. Keep going. I want to hear Ishan's kata, or what you can remember of it.
Yes. So it was like, for me, we have discussed many of these things already. It also resonates with him. So it was wonderful to hear that it's not just, one person's realization. It's it's two persons' realization now.
Yeah.
It's three people's realization now. It's four people's realization now. And our Istagosthi solidifies, or it gives us a new, I don't know, what would you call it? New, fresh look, different look as an individual person.
And a more powerful basis, too, a standard.
Yeah.
It's not like we're just a voice howling in the wilderness. We are in the majority. Because if you start to think of it.
Yes, we are in the majority.
Yeah, devotees are in the majority. The material world is in the minority.
Yes. Because the devotees see each and every living entity as part and parcel of Krishna and individual. They have the big vision. So when we meet people like that, our Krishna consciousness blossoms even more. Because seeing them, and I mean, he's about, I think, your age, 77, 78. So it's very interesting. I mean, all our devotee friends, at least in my life, are much more senior than me in age. I'm just giving a material conception, that very senior and very experienced people. So I can really appreciate that, because in the initiator world of ISKCON, you don't get this intimate association, and we can talk very intimately about all kinds of subject matters,
Yeah.
So it's
but it's very rare to run across people that talk the way we do.
yes,
No matter how senior they are.
yes, Exactly.
You talk to them, they'll give you very horizontal stories about where they were in such a year, who they knew, who died, stuff like that. But they're not. They don't talk about, what, remember, our platform has been generated to. The soul speaks, therefore the soul is articulate from his unique position as an independent philosopher. Each jiva is independent of each other jiva.
Yes. Yeah.
Nobody is independent of Krishna. Everyone is independent of one another.
Yeah.
So the more we try to merge into a group mentality, the more we have to undo at a later date.
Yes.
People say, like, I'm very fallen, I'm a very fallen person, this, that. But how can we be fallen? We're part of Krishna. Infinitesimal part of Krishna.
Right.
Cannot be.
Infinitesimal part of Krishna, We just realize that, we're part and parcel of Krishna, and Krishna is an independent person, supreme person. We're independent, infinitesimal person. So, Jai. Mahaprabhu Prabhu is coming on now.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, could you do me the favor of defining Istagosthi?
Yes, Narayan Prabhu. Yes, you go ahead.
Peace. Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.
Hare Prabhupada. Jai, Hare Bol,
Hare Bol. I
Srila
made it.
Prabhupada introduced, you did. And we all benefit from you making it.
Oh, thank you, Narayan. Hare Krishna. Okay, carry on.
All right.
If I didn't say that, I would not be telling the truth.
Jai.
Thank you, Chai. Hare Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
But I feel obliged to tell the truth.
All right, carry on.
We will.
Here we go.
Jai.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. So, Matthew Prabhu's question was, can you define Istagosthi, Narayan Prabhu?
Sure.
Can you give it in a few minutes and some examples along with it?
I'll try to do it in less than a few minutes, and I'll try to think of examples. So, Istagosthi, Shri Gorahari, so he Gosta Vihari. That refers to Krishna's pastimes with the cowherd boys. So Istagosthi means circle of cowherd boys. I would say, well, what can we have? What do we know? Or what is our involvement in any such circle of cowherd boys? I mean, who the heck are we to know cowherd boys? 1 second. And but it's not that we know any cowherd boys. I don't, none of us know any cowherd boys. But having said that, cowherd boys know us. Because Krishna is in the superior position. He can see you and me if he sees something worth seeing, like something like Istagosthi. If he sees people sitting trying to discuss Krishna Katha, he can enter into that with his cowherd boy friends in a circle. So Istagosthi properly is conducted in a circle. And you sit there with your associates, and in that circle, now you might say, if you have a circle of cowherd boys and Krishna's sitting in the circle, well, who's the superior person in that circle? Does anyone have a guess?
Krishna.
Actually, of course, but actually, no, because he comes and sits equally with the cowherd boys. If he sat there looking like a gigantic statue of some gigantic deity or something, then the cowherd boys would be there. They would not feel, there wouldn't be a circle of cowherd boys. But Krishna, in the pastime of cowherd boy, is with his associates, who are his parts and parcels, who are his devotees, But in the rasa of cowherd boy, they're all equal. So Istagosthi is a process of establishing equality amongst everyone, not just various, amongst anyone who comes to this Istagosthi. The whole thing is that person, they're all equal to each other. Now, what happens if a big initiator shows up, one of the ISKCON initiating guru types? What do they show up? What if a guy walks in off the street that's never been in the temple room before, and he's, half drunk? And what happens if there's a temple commander, temple president, people that wash dishes? What about all of those people? And they come in and sit in the circle. Well, guess what? Oh, a sannyasi or anybody elevated, supposedly elevated, when they come into the Istagosthi, just as Krishna doesn't lord it over his cowherd boyfriends, so the sannyasi cannot lord it over his god brothers and god sisters in the Istagosthi process. Does that make any concrete sense?
Very much so. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, so that's Istagosthi.
So, do you want to ask any more questions, clarifications, Matthew?
Yeah, the cowherd boys, is that a good thing or a bad thing? A positive, negative? What is that?
Oh, cowherd boys, there's 4 principal rasas in Krishna Loka, and the cowherd boys is one of them. So when Krishna's in his rasa with cowherd boys, it doesn't mean he's in a rasa with everybody in Krishna Loka. Sometimes individually and sometimes from a distance, just like people are. But when Krishna is in his rasa with cowherd boys, they're little kids, maybe up to 10, 12 years old. Maybe 6, 7 years old, and they run in the fields chasing the cows and keeping the cows in line and not wandering off into distance or anything. So when they're doing that, they're all equal. They're all equal. It's not that Krishna says, you twerps, get out of the way. I can do this with the tip of my pinky. Of course he could, but what's the pleasure in that? Krishna does everything for pleasure, for satisfaction, for happiness. Where would be the happiness if he made all the cowherd boys feel like nobodies?
Right. Yes.
So that he treats equally. Actually, some cowherd boys, if they wrestle, they may defeat him in the wrestling match. Is it only that Krishna will win each time? No, it's all based on the rasa, the exchange, the loving exchange. If one wants to show his superior strength to Krishna, and he does it very properly, as he will in Krishna Loka, because nobody's in Krishna Loka is not doing everything right, properly. When he exerts his musculature pinning Krishna to the earth, Krishna agrees to be pinned, because that's the rasa. That's the relationship between Krishna and the cowherd boys. And similarly, when he's with Mother Yasoda, she's busy conjuring milk in her breast that is only Krishna can taste. I mean, it's sort of like custom tailored, custom designed milk.
Have you been back?
Custom designed milk.
No, we're not.
So good to see you. How are you liking Indiana?
And who is that milk designed for? She creates it. And she creates it for one recipient. And that recipient is Krishna.
Right.
Okay.
Narayan Prabhu. Matthew Prabhu
Yeah.
wanted to ask some clarificatory questions, maybe, or some more.
I'll try to answer with 1 or 2 sentences if I can.
Yes, go ahead.
Actually, now I just want to comment that
Yes, please comment. Guys.
these
Comment.
the devotees, they started calling me Babu, and I mean, I was kind of viewing them as like, if they could, like, give me some leadership, like, be a senior devotee to me, but they call me Babu, and they tell me it means brother. So I'm really glad that you're explaining this.
Yeah.
I can kind of try and reciprocate with them.
Jai.
Hare
Yes.
Krishna, Hare Krishna.
No real devotee will want to be treated as a superior by any devotee. Any real devotee will take the mood of service to you or to anyone, even to service to an ant, or even lower, service to me. Can you imagine that? Any jiva will, any devotee will take the mood, I am your eternal servant. But having said so, he's not just going to bring you a hamburger because you want one. That Paramatma can do. No, he will not give you a hamburger, but he will talk to you as jiva, spirit soul. He's not talking to your body as his master. He's talking to you as the jiva. When you say Prabhu, it means master. Oh, master. Well, who are you talking to? The guy, the fat guy, this tall guy, this strong guy, this lady? Who are you talking to when you say Prabhu?
Just a clarification, I was saying Babu, and they were telling me Babu means
Babu. Yeah, Babu, Babu. Baba, Babu. Yeah, it's a slang term.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a slang term, right?
I'm not very familiar with it, but it's not a formal Vaishnava term.
Yeah.
No.
Prabhu is.
Prabhu is, right.
Prabhu means master. That means you look at everyone. If you see everything that is conscious and moves, or even moves slightly like a plant, as spirit soul, then you'll say Prabhu to the carrot, and you'll say Prabhu to the flower that's growing in the garden. You will take that mood of walking amongst these things as the eternal servant of each and every one of them. No, you're not a servant of a flower. You're not a servant of a frog. You're not a servant of a germ in your body. You're a servant of every jiva, and all of those entities are jivas with measurable, scientifically discernible bodies.
Jai. Anything else, Matthew Prabhu, you want to comment on?
I'm happy to listen for a while.
Jai, very good. So this
Thank you for your request.
So this
Go
type
ahead.
of discussions we can have, anytime. You can call me, you can call Bhanu Prabhu, you can call Narayan Prabhu, you can call Mahaprabhu. We can have discussions if you have any doubts. And this is also an invitation to everyone watching on Facebook, on YouTube, on our personal channels. We love Radha Krishna, or my channel, Ronald Singh. And then they're very welcome to come into the Istagosthi, share their Krishna conscious realizations, plan for the next 10,000 years, what they want to do for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada, and propagate Krishna consciousness. And let's work together,
Yeah.
all over
And
the
it will
world.
not be a group activity.
Yes.
It'll be maybe 100,000 people that do not form a group, but remain as individuals acting from the platform of spiritual life together in harmony. Because
Right.
when an army marches, it's not one thing like a snake. It's a bunch of people. Each one is an individual. He has a wife, and children, and he's this, he's that. He looks different, but in the uniform, that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
All about the Gita.
Yeah.
And one time years ago, I saw ants moving at the baseboard of a house. I saw the ants moving. And I swear, if you focus your eyes in a certain way, they look like, it looked like a snake. Like they were moving back and forth, but they were completely like cells in the body of a snake.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that.
That's what we can be.
That,
I'm sorry?
not only that, but if you watch the ants as they move across each other, they acknowledge each and every one of themselves.
Wow, amazing insight.
They touch antlers, their antenna.
Wow.
there is not one ant that will move next to another without acknowledging it. Amazing.
Oh,
Check it out.
and that's what's happening in our bodies with ourselves. But we consider ourselves so superior to the activity of ourselves that we don't pay attention. But that is going on right now as we speak. Ourselves are busy tipping their hats to each other as they slither past each other in our body.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So it's an open invitation to anyone who's watching to participate. This is an open forum where you can discuss about anything that's going on in your life, personal life, or Krishna conscious
Say
life.
what you like or ask what you like.
Yeah. And receive an answer from 4 or 5 people.
Yes.
You're a fantastic facilitator, Ramachandra Singh Prabhu.
Everyone's
indeed.
fantastic, part and parcel of Krishna, unique, individual.
Amen.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
See, do you notice that mood of acting as the individual soul is catching on and is coming out in our exchanges in this conversation?
Yeah.
Yes.
You can see it and feel it. The conditioned people dread such an encounter because they think the minute someone acts as spirit soul, they'll be pushed down with somebody's foot on their head. But quite the opposite. That person is a free, liberated soul, you're a liberated soul, then communication can finally take place after so many births in different species.
Yeah. Right.
And why not?
Exactly. Why not? What's the difficulty?
The more we speak from the spiritual platform, the more we avoid these zigzags of our previous lives.
Yeah.
We can bypass our previous lives.
So
Except for the body we have right now, but we don't have to be attached to it.
So someone might ask us, hey, you people having Zoom conversations for the past 6-7 months, you guys are not discussing any philosophy, you're not reading, you're not having an ISKCON program where you're chanting, everyone is chanting, and then, why aren't we having a program like that? Where
that sounds like Vasij.
No, I'm a
typical. No, go ahead. You're on a roll, and it's a very good roll. Go ahead. Keep going.
I am a typical devotee that grew up in the temple. I see, what are these guys doing? They're talking about all kinds of nonsense, They're not chanting Hare Krishna. They're not reading Prabhupada's books. They're not quoting Prabhupada's books. Where's their temple? Where's their center? This doesn't make sense to me. What is going on here? A lot of people are probably thinking.
So what's the answer?
So what is the answer, Bhanu Prabhu? We're going to go one by one. So you're the host.
We're completing what is incomplete, what is missing from the regular ISKCON congregation.
Be specific. Be specific. What's missing?
He's on the right track, though, I can tell.
Yeah.
Like the original Prabhupada's ISKCON, we're trying to restore it, like independent temples. The real Prabhupada, the Mahamantra tune. Elected GBC.
Jai.
All these things.
These are very powerful insights. And with this, ISKCON can be glorified. Srila Prabhupada's original mission, vision, his temple centers, the devotees, they become very enthusiastic. They become powerful, just like they are part and parcel of Krishna. We attain our original glory.
And you come to the Istagosthi without rank. You don't come as a kirtan leader. You don't come as a puchari. You don't come as a cook or a sannyasi. You come as a jiva equal to everyone. So we can't have a hierarchical meeting with kirtans and lectures and stuff like that. Oh, I like that lecture. Oh, I didn't like that lecture. So-and-so gave a good lecture. We don't want that. We are speaking now. The lecture is what's coming from the heart right now. We're creating that. This is the postgraduate study according to the Kinesta Adhikari class and the Kinesta Adhikari Kirtan. What we're doing is setting a standard for 10,000 years.
Right.
Actually, it's already been set by Lord Chaitanya and those who follow him. But what we're doing is going to make it a blanket realization, not a blanket, but we're going to bring so many independent philosophers together that independently we will all decide to deliver every living jiva on earth. And why not? What could possibly stop us?
Right.
Yes. Is that interesting?
Yeah.
Very wonderful.
Very interesting.
Interesting, huh? Right. So let's all try to speak from the platform of the soul or the heart. Go ahead.
I remember Banu Prabhu a couple sessions ago.
Okay.
He was asking, why do we have to wait 10,000 years? Can't we do it now?
Well, Bhanu Prabhu got a satisfactory answer from all angles now. He's convinced.
Okay.
Right, Bhanu Prabhu? I think
Hare
that,
Krishna.
he has understood the gist of the whole thing. So this has been done through the Istagosthi with the devotees.
If I may add, I mean, whatever we act on the spiritual platform continues. It's a permanent ascent. I mean, it's a permanent ascent. So whatever you act on, it doesn't have to be completed. It keeps on. It's a permanent asset. What I mean to say is, so what if you start something in the material platform, by the end of this lifetime you have to complete it. Otherwise, you can't enjoy the fruits. But whatever you're acting on the spiritual platform, you don't need to think about the fruits. Just act on it.
Wow.
Hare Krishna.
That is fantastically powerful thing to say. And it happens to be true. Thank you, Banu.
Very nice, Banu.
Very nice. Good realization. You see, you'll hear this sort of heartfelt speech. Oh, yes, that's good. I like, not because we are agreeing with each other, because our self is agreeing with the other selves on this platform. So as we agree with one another, not horizontally, but vertically, then we become powerful and capable of doing everything that needs to be done for the next 10,000 years. We say 10,000, it's only what, 9,450 or something of that sort? Because Lord Chaitanya, from Lord Chaitanya's time to us, we figured it out once. Banu, do you remember how many years it actually is?
9,465, I think so.
9,465?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to write that down. So the 10,000 years of the golden age of Kali is actually 9,465 years. Next year it'll be 64. So you see, if we measure it like that, 9,465 years, then what will happen in 10 years? We'll mostly be alive, I would imagine. That will be 9,455 years left. So we can measure 10 years of the golden age of Kali, which we have either used or squandered.
So, this is Srila Prabhupada's letter to Rupanuga Prabhu. It's very, what can I say? It's a long letter. So I'd like to just read part of it, or no, Prabhu, why don't you read it? Can you read it?
Me?
Yeah.
I can read it, but why should I read?
Why should you read? Okay. Why not? You should not read.
Because you have a very projecting voice.
Yes, that's why. Right here.
Well, then that might be a good reason not to read. But anyhow, okay. So you want me to read? I'll read. If you
Yes,
like.
please. No, Prabhu.
Because remember, my tendency now is to let everyone speak. Now that we're all on the same platform, now that we're all speaking from the Jiva platform, not from the material or the mental platform, now that we're doing that, I want to listen to you all because I have nothing to say. I only have something to say when we have to break the spell of Maya that makes us think we are our body and making ourselves think even thinking we're Kinnasadikaras is a downer,
Yes.
because we're not Kinnasadikaras, we're pure spirit soul.
Try.
Okay, shall I read?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Your question, whose question is it, by the way?
Rupanuga Prabhu's.
Acha.
Here's the date. Letter to Rupanuga, Montreal, July 3rd, 1968.
Is he only reading the highlighted portion?
No, he's going to read from your question.
Okay. Good luck, Narayan. Let's go.
Let's go.
Your question. If in the Vaikunutas, come on, Naya.
Why don't you read Mahaprabhu Das? You do a fantastic job. Please.
Okay, I'll try to pronounce as best I can.
Yes.
Your question, if the Vaikunthas, ecstatic love between Lord Narayan and his devotees and Lord Krishna consciousness and his devotees on Krishna Loka is qualitatively the same,
Qualitatively
the same, then what is the advantage of following the path of Krishna consciousness, whose philosophy, austerity, is difficult to understand?
That was Rupanuga Prabhu's question to Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada is answering now.
Krishna consciousness philosophy includes the whole Vaishnava philosophy. When we speak Krishna, the very word means Rama, Nashima, Varaha, and all other similar expansions and incarnations. So Krishna consciousness includes Vaikuntha consciousness, but Vaikuntha consciousness does not include Krishna consciousness.
Let's stop here for now. Let's stop here.
Why not?
Narayan Prabhu, what do you think about that, huh? Amazing, huh?
Vaikuntha consciousness, but Vaikuntha consciousness does not mean Krishna consciousness. What's the difference?
Now let's read forward. Prabhupada answers it.
Those who are strictly following the rules and regulations of Vaishnava activities, they are promoted to Vaikuntha lokas. But those who have developed a spontaneous love for Krishna, they are promoted to Krishna loka.
There you go. Krishna answers that question.
All right. Therefore, although Krishna consciousness includes Vaikuntha consciousness, pure Krishna consciousness is spontaneous love for Krishna without any regulative principles.
Regulative principles, yes.
The idea can be explained that a young boy or a young girl are spontaneously attracted.
Spontaneously attracted. Yeah, spontaneously attracted. Yeah.
Without following any regulative principles previously.
Yes.
When one develops such spontaneous love for God, spontaneous one,
Yeah.
When one develops such spontaneous love for God, that is called pure Krishna consciousness. In our conditioned life, we have forgotten our relationship with God. But the regulative principles, we can
Right.
make alert the
But
inert activities. Just
Yeah.
like a rheumatic crippled man is gradually elevated by some bodily exercises, similarly, the regulative principles are to make us habituated to our dominant service attitude. But
dormant.
when
You are
that is
dormant.
nature, it becomes spontaneous. And that is pure Krishna consciousness. And such highly elevated consciousness makes one eligible to enter into Krishna Loka. So in order to enter Krishna Loka, we need elevated consciousness.
Krishna consciousness. Yes.
Hare Krishna. The living example for much spontaneous love are exhibited by the gopis and eligible to enter into the Krishna Loka. The living example for much spontaneous love and exhibited by the gopis and eligible to enter into the Krishna Loka.
And inhabitants of Vrindavan.
We're reading.
The living example for much spontaneous love are exhibited by the gopis and inhabitants of Vrindavan. We can learn from this form, Srimad Bhagavatam, how much they love Krishna spontaneously.
Okay, let's stop there for now. And this is very powerful, right? Amazing. Now, Narayan Prabhu, you're
Very
muted.
heavy.
Now, Narayan Prabhu, you're muted.
Oh,
What are you
didn't know
saying,
that.
please?
Beyond powerful.
Ah,
Uh-huh.
This is exact. I've been trying to explain this, but Prabhupada explains it in one paragraph, and I go around in circles, and people still don't quite understand what I'm trying to get at. But yes, this is it, and it's so important, the distinction between Vaikuntha Loka and Krishna Loka, because Krishna Loka, in Vaikuntha Loka, you worship four-armed Vishnu, and you worship him in awe and reverence. In Krishna Loka, you worship him spontaneously. If you worship Vishnu, there's no problem there. There's gazillions of jivas worshiping Vishnu on the planets that surround Krishna Loka, but it's done with formality and awe and reverence. Because they were good devotees, they became good disciples in Krishna in Vaikuntha Loka. But the ones who developed the Kanista Adhikari platform that we've been describing from so many different angles. Kanista Madhyam, did I say Uttama? Kanista Madhyam Uttama Adhikari platform, that progression, Uttama takes you beyond Vaikuntha Loka.
right.
That's the point.
One
So
question. One question. You said Uttarama gets you beyond Vaikuntha, but don't you need to be Uttama to enter Vaikuntha?
Good question.
That
Well,
does, I was of the opinion.
it just you can find it in that paragraph.
Do you need to get to Madhyama to attain Vaikuntha? Because the relationship has to be formed in Vaikuntha between you and Krishna.
Why not go back to the text, because it was clearly outlined there.
Okay, let's go back now, Narayan Prabhu. Can you read it and explain it once I share the screen, please?
Sure.
Go ahead.
The highlighted portion, correct?
Yeah, right. Those who are strictly following the rules and regulations of Vaishnava activities, they are promoted to Vaikuntha Lokas. But those who have developed a spontaneous love for Krishna, they are promoted to the Krishna Loka.
Okay.
What's the difference?
So my question here is, to go back to Godhead, Well, Vaikuntha is back to Godhead. So one can be a Kanishta Adhikari and go back to Godhead?
No,
No?
not exactly.
Okay.
Because we're talking about the difference between formal worship of Krishna and spontaneous.
Okay.
They're both on the highest platform because they couldn't be there otherwise. But
So-
it's not that a Madhya Madhikari is going back to Vaikuntha Loka.
Okay.
You have to be on the highest platform, but the Krishna
Rasa.
Loka has
Yes.
something higher than the highest platform.
So
Spontaneous love of God,
we can
not
say that.
formal love of God.
So we can say that the Vaikuntha Vasi has attained the Uttamadakari Vaishnava stage, and he's going to Vishnu planet, meaning that these three Vaishnavas or people who have developed that Uttamadakari stage, but not that spontaneous love of Godhead, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada, or Acharyas. They have spontaneous love for Krishna, Radha Krishna.
And that's what they taught
Krishna.
as well. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Bhanu Prabhu, you wanted to ask something?
I mean, they are following the rules and regulations of devotional service. I mean, isn't that speaking about Kanishta Adhikari? They have perfected that and they would be going back to Vaikuntha.
Well, if you perfect it, you have to go beyond Kanishta Adhikari. You practice Kanishta Adhikari, but you don't really enter into the rasa building stage. You could even be a Madhya Adhikari in a different sense. I don't know. All I know is what Prabhupada told me, and that's all I know. But from what is written here, it seems that the people that follow all the like Ramachandra points out so intelligently, that the people that are following the Ramanujas and they're doing strict puja, they will go to Vishnu because they're not entering into a spontaneous rasa with Krishna. If you're not in a spontaneous rasa with Krishna, you're not going to have a spontaneous rasa with Krishna. But you will be a liberated soul. You will be in Satchidananda, bliss, knowledge, eternity. You will be living in Krishna Loka, in the Vaikuntha Loka planets. So you will have nothing to complain about.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that the people in Vaikuntha Loka, in Krishna Loka, are engaged in something that Vaikuntha Loka residents cannot even imagine.
So, being a Hare Krishna or a follower of Srila Prabhupada, we should develop that spontaneous love for Srila Prabhupada, Krishna, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the devotee circle.
Well,
Hare
if you read the Chaitanya Charitamrita, wall to wall, that's what it describes.
Yeah,
That is it.
that
But
is.
we should not try to develop it. For sure. Never try to develop.
Yeah, that should be
spontaneous love for God.
spontaneously coming.
That's what the
Spontaneous.
the fakes teach, the sahajas. They say, oh Radha, oh Krishna, like that. No, bullshit. No, that's not it. Your spontaneous love for God occurs reciprocally with Krishna.
Hmm.
Reciprocally. It's not I have love for Krishna. It's that Krishna and I are in loving exchanges. That's the difference. If you're in Vaikuntha Loka, you can worship Krishna, Vishnu as much as you want, and he will reciprocate by gratitude and blessing and make you feel like everything. Wonderful. However, if you want spontaneous, you have to get into a situation where he reciprocates with you. It's no point in saying I'm going to play ping pong ball or table tennis and I'm going to hit the ball over there, but the other person's not going to hit it back. That's not a game. And it's not that the other person does all the work and pops it over to your side. You just stand there looking at it, which is what people think. Well, why doesn't Krishna come and save me or something like that? He saves you by giving you the chance to save himself, and even more so, to save him. Supposing you're up to, you see that Krishna is warm, so you take out your peacock feather fan and start to fan him. You're saving Krishna from too much warmth. What's the problem? You see?
spontaneous generation.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
So, Mahaprabhu, why don't
This
you
topic reminded me of something I heard. It's that rasa is so much better than tattva. The thatness. It's the taste is actually where that reciprocation is.
Yes.
And it's
And,
really
but
not.
the taste has to be reciprocal.
Yeah.
If you have a taste that is just worshipful,
right here?
well, welcome to Vaikuntha Loka.
Right here, reciprocation.
If it's reciprocal, Krishna will say to you, "Come on in. I want to spend time with you. I like who you are. I'm really attracted to your worship of me and my appreciation for you." So you have a rasa. That is the rasa right there. What's said here in this highlight?
Okay, so Mahaprabhu, please finish it off. Put the nail in the coffin.
Let's do this. Your question, what is the relationship of sweethearts in Vaikuntha to each
Wow.
other and to Lord Narayan? Is this conjugal love, parental affection, and unalloyed friendship there in the Vaikunthas? No. In Vaikuntha, there are two kinds of transcendental mellows, Dasya and the lower half of Sakya Rasa. The lower half of Sakya means friendship in adoration, and the higher half of Sakya Rasa is friendship on equal level. So in Vrindavan, the reciproc action of transcendation humor is higher than in Vaikuntha.
Okay, so in Vrindavan, the reciprocation of transcendental humor is higher than in Vaikuntha.
Humor means mood, not jokes.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, finish it off, Mahaprabhu.
Is there more free and spontaneous, without any restriction, arranged by Yogamaya principle? Yes. Other slokas in the Sastra that refer directly to chanting the holy name of God as the Yuga Dharma are mentioned in Agni Purana, Kali Santara Upanishad, and many other scriptures. Yes, please, decorate the temple with as many pictures as possible. And Jadurani is very kind and liberal to support us.
To supply
us pictures. She is never tired of painting, and that makes her increased in Krishna consciousness. Hoping you are well and thanking you once more for your nice letter.
Now, wait a minute. This top paragraph, the last sentence here, there's an important point. It should go, it is there more free and spontaneous without any restriction, arranged by Yogamaya principle. So that's like a comma right there, right? It's like, it is arranged by Yogamaya that there is no restriction.
Right. Which is interesting because Yogamaya, the task of Yogamaya in Krishna Loka is to keep you from being aware of all the other rasas when they don't apply to what you're doing with Krishna. Yogamaya gives you just like Mother Yasoda, rasa with Krishna is based on Krishna drinking her breast milk and various other activities. Mother Yasoda, by Yogamaya, Mother Yasoda is prevented from being fully aware of Krishna dancing with the gopis in the forest. That would be disturbing to any mother, what to speak, the one that's giving breast milk.
So, wow, amazing, huh? Prabhupada's, this is the whole Krishna consciousness movement here in these two paragraphs.
Exactly.
How can anyone deny it?
Because we're talking and hearing from the Jiva platform, we can understand it immediately. Whereas if we were not on the Jiva platform, can you imagine how our brains would be crunching along trying to find out what it means?
Where's the calculation? It's transcendental.
Right.
And it's transparent as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing.
I have a comment.
Please
Yes.
go ahead.
By reading today's scriptures, and not yesterday, but I think it was the day before scriptures,
Yeah.
it brings to mind a writer. His name was C.S. Lewis,
All right.
and he wrote a book entitled The Four Loves, Four Kinds of Love. The first love was storge. These are all Greek terms. Storge is the love of acquaintance. I meet you on the street. Hello, how are you? I love you.
Gotcha.
And then there's Philadelphia, or Phila love, which is Philadelphia, brotherly love, the love you have for a brother or a sister or a sibling. And then there's erotic love. That's love of sex, love of touching and holding and kissing. But the fourth love, which seems to be the most important, was the love of agape. And that's the love of God for you, for me, for everybody, and unconditional love. And I believe that's the love of Krishna and the love that he has for us.
Haribol.
Haribol.
Absolutely. Jai. Without
Chai.
question.
All right.
Yeah.
Amen.
Agape happens to be the shortest sentence in the Bible.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And there's a religious group here in Los Angeles, at least, known as agape. It's Greek. I don't know what the literal translation of agape is.
The purest type of love, correct?
Yes. But it also means all, because our word agape is agape. He saw a gigantic buzzard flying to the sky, and his mouth was agape, gaping.
Jai. So
because it was such a high level, extraordinary experience.
So does Krishna love us?
Unconditionally.
Okay, can I ask you a question, Mahaprabhu?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Does Krishna love himself?
I believe he does.
Well, if he didn't love himself, how could he? Is it possible that Krishna might not love himself?
But by loving himself, he loves us as well.
Because we're part and parcel of him. We're not independent from Krishna. You see, we have to get rid of the Christian angst where, oh, God loves me, but I don't love God. If only I love God as much as God loves me. That's all ridiculous because we're part and parcel of God. How God will not love himself. If God didn't love himself, then who would he love? And how could we love God if God doesn't love himself? I mean, isn't that one preposterous notion on top of the other? So we can see that Christianity, except for the agape part, is built on piles of such inconsistencies and bizarre contradictions.
Kabish.
Yes.
Right. So let's go back to Srila Prabhupada now. So there we go, Prabhupada explaining. So all our questions are answered. We don't have to go anywhere. If we have the sincere desire to worship Srila Prabhupada, everything will be answered. Might not be answered immediately, or it might be answered immediately. Who knows? I didn't know that.
It will be answered when Ramachandra finds the quote. Puts it on the screen.
Actually, I was just looking for anything today. Not thinking about anything. And we're talking, and I was like, let me search something, and look what came up.
You directed us in the right path.
Krishna directed.
Do you have any clue, Ramachandra, as to who might have been guiding you to this quote? You were
He said
randomly
Krishna.
looking for a quote, but was it randomly supplied?
Yes.
He said Krishna.
Yes.
Well,
You said Krishna.
specifically though, Paramatma.
Yes. Yes.
This is
Paramatma.
Paramatma when he's not busy handing you hamburgers.
Shy. So everyone can have this wonderful experience. We are having this every day, but do we realize it? Do we see it?
I feel it.
Question.
Jai. Now this
I
is,
feel it. Haribol.
to me, this is a fully inspired conversation. I feel it's coming from the spiritual platform, not Brahman or some generalized spiritual platform, but from each and every one of our spiritual identity spiritual platforms. Let's remember, Prabhupada said, you're flying your own airplane.
Hmm.
Now, you can tell the Kinista Adhikari initiators, aren't you rather telling people to follow you and not fly their own airplane? Now,
Yeah.
aren't they supposed to be flying their own airplane? Why
Right.
should they be groveling with you and drinking the milk that your feet polluted? Why not do that? Because each individual person, now that doesn't mean we cannot offer profound respect to a godbrother.
Hmm.
And the Kinista Adhikari initiator is a godbrother. So we can, on one vein, offer him worship because he's part and parcel of Krishna.
Shy.
But at the same time, we cannot allow him, without uttering a word, to guide people into a mush where their independence is being liquefied and emulsified, like putting fruit or vegetables into a blender and turning it on and turning it into soup.
So that's what I was talking about to Matthew Prabhu just before Narayan Prabhu came on. So he summarized
Right.
that in the initiator group of.
Can you reiterate your point?
No, I said I was
I
trying to.
want to benefit from your point.
I was talking to Matthew Prabhu about how this process of killing the individual, which it cannot kill it, but it kind of stunts your Krishna conscious growth. That's what I've experienced when being in the initiator crowd.
Well, it doesn't touch the jiva.
It doesn't touch the jiva.
When people do that, they touch the mind, and the mind then lures the body. The mind becomes Krishna conscious, and it tells the body, "Oh, no more hamburgers. You have to ask Paramatma for something else. You have to eat prasadam now." So the body follows the mind follows the jiva. The jiva is attracted, but the mind is then seduced by the initiator to become merged into other mind's domain as well. And you just become a part of a group. I mean, what is a group except people who have given up their individuality?
Exactly. Right. What is it? Matthew Prabhu? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember what you're saying and how it related to our conversation.
Go for it. Enlighten us.
Yes.
No, I mean like what was that you said we talked about at the beginning?
I said when you join the initiator crowd, you will suffer from this.
Oh yeah.
So that's
like, don't use your brain. You promised the best thing. You'll be going back to Godhead. Just join us. Just do what is said to be done. Just like that.
Hari.
Yeah. And without worrying about the outcome. If we do the right thing, the duty, if we follow the instruction of the spiritual master, we don't have to calculate or tax our brain what will be the outcome. If he says do this, we do it, though the outcome will be revealed to us as the outcome. if we try to speculate on it or try to create an outcome before we even do what we're supposed to do, it won't turn out right.
Well,
It'll
actually,
turn out like a ISKCON kirtan. But
just this is like the way I deal with it is I heard you can give association without taking bad association. It's
of course.
So like just there's these Tamal Krishna disciples that are actually dear to me. It's like just not something I consider as like, you know, it's the past. It's terrible, but I don't feel like it's relevant to my relationship with him.
Because they never became his disciples, actually. If they did, they would have poisoned Prabhupada too.
Right.
But
Yeah.
they didn't. They just followed along. He told them da 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 da, and they said, oh, da 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 da. And the other one next to you said da 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 da. Yeah, da 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 da. And then they all become happy people because they're following the four regulated principles. They're chanting Hare Krishna, they're taking prasadam, and they're adoring one person. Tamal, when they could easily save their energy to adore Prabhupada with that same time and space of their consciousness. But by adoring Tamal, they are sort of adoring Prabhupada, because you can't adore Tamal without adoring his spiritual master.
Right. Jai.
But that doesn't mean that he's on the right track. It just means that he didn't completely delude everybody. If he told you chant Hare Krishna and your life will be sublime, if you do that, your life will become sublime.
But what about the rest?
The which?
The rest of the stuff. Sublime is fine.
Oh, well, yes. Well, that's why I'm explaining why, to Matthew, why the devotees in Houston feel the way they do because of the sublime. But what have they been cheated out of? What have they not experienced? What have they not had an opportunity to even know exists? Well, that is the blind spot that the Kanista gurus provide, because, as Rupa Goswami says in the Upadeshamrita, they are giving insufficient guidance. And what is insufficient guidance? Giving their disciples, if you will call them that, if you want to give them the credit of having disciples, they're not giving them, their disciples, pure Krishna consciousness. They can lead them up to the Kanista Adhikari. They can maintain them on Kanista Adhikari, but after a while they'll die of boredom because they can't get beyond Kanista Adhikari.
Yeah. Recently, one devotee called me. He was my friend. Oh, he's still my friend. And he said, I told him, Prabhu, we've been in Sacramento for 10 years, and the congregation here is probably 25 years old. And, so many people got initiated by Jay Pataka, this guru, that guru, initiator gurus. I'm like, what's going on here? I don't see any substance, I was like, I don't see, they're chanting Hare Krishna. They should be very enthusiastic to serve Krishna, make something new, make things happen. Why isn't things happening? So he blamed me, Ronald, these people are chanting Hare Krishna. What is wrong with that? I said, there's nothing wrong with that. But what else is there?
Yeah.
He couldn't answer. He said, I got to go to work.
What's the next step?
What's the next step? Right.
Yeah.
You've been chanting Hare Krishna for 20 years, 25 years.
He went from a pivotal point in the conversation with you, and when he said, instead of stepping up to what you were inviting him to step up to, he said, I have to go to work, meaning he stepped down. He stepped down.
Yes. So
that just proves the point. He reached the Kanista Adhikari platform, unable to answer a question that's perfectly sensible and reasonable to ask. He had to step down because he couldn't step up.
Right.
Now, if he can't step up, that's what's happening in one way or another to the entire movement.
Yeah.
People would like this. People came to step up, and they think they're going to get stepped up by their Kanista initiators. But their Kanista initiators can't even step themselves up. So how can they step up anybody?
Right.
So then the question arises, what is the step up? And then he said, well, did you hear about Ramachandra's the League for 10,000 years of Golden Age of Kali?
Jai!
If you tune in and listen to Ramachandra and the people he manages to lure into his website, his site, you'll understand where the next step up is.
Yeah, the step up is they need to be connected to the Guru Parampara completely, to Prabhupada.
Right.
Right.
And you need to have, that means you need the association of an Uttama Adhikari. And if you cannot find one at the Goodwill Industries or Salvation Army thrift store, try Prabhupada's books. You'll find the Uttama Adhikari right there.
Yes. Or his videos, or his recorded lectures, or his letters. Or come on our Zoom. You'll find him here also.
Or Ramachandra.
Or Banu. Or Narayan. We all are individual living entities worshiping Srila Prabhupada. So you can contact any one of us and then we can discuss.
And you won't
Hare
get
Krishna.
the same words, but you'll get the same energy because we're all speaking from the same energetic source.
God.
Isn't that great?
Haribol.
Right.
Haribol.
So?
And you might say, well, is there anything greater than speaking from the original energetic source? And
Never.
the question is, actually, no. Speaking from the original energetic source is what the Sampradaya Acharyas have done, what Prabhupada has done. And as we are modifying our material horizontal mentality of Kinestadikari to try to approach a higher platform, that's also what we're trying to do and doing. I won't say try to do, because if you try to do something transcendental and you're doing it in parampara, it will work. So you're not trying, you're succeeding. The question is, well, did you succeed 1,000%? Are you going to become a big initiator now? You're going to initiate everybody? No, I got 1/10 of 1% out of 1,000,000%, but I got it. That little bit I got, and I'm not going to ever let go because it's become me. I am that realization. It's not that I have a realization. No, that is the bodily consciousness again speaking. Oh, I had a realization. Oh, no, you didn't. If there's a realization, it had you. You know, you don't have anything. You know, Sanskrit in the Bhagavad Gita, nirmama, nothing is mine, including my realization. But isn't my realization transcendental? The topic is, yes. Your realization of it isn't. As long as you say it's your realization, then it is a topic about realization, not realization itself.
Yeah. A lot of people identify with this, oh, I started this, you did that. That's bringing it down to the bodily conception of life immediately, horizontal thinking.
Exactly. And if you're a long-term devotee talking to another long-term devotee, you want to really establish that I did that in 1980. Oh, and I did that in 1980. What month of 19? Oh, yes, in January. Yeah, I did too. We did. We both were doing. We were there together, weren't we? That isn't Krishna consciousness. That is mooing like a cow. And that's not to say something bad about cows.
Yeah.
But Prabhupada used the example about Himavati when Nandakishore came to Prabhupada and said, oh, Himavati's driving us all crazy. She's always saying this and that and offering her opinion and criticizing what we're doing and telling us that we need to do it better, you know. All good advice, of course. So what should we do? And Prabhupada looked up grandly at Nandakishore and said, let her move. Let her move. It's like a cow. What are you going to tell a cow? Stop mooing? No, let her move. But of
God.
course, what she was saying may have been offensive to the egos and whatever. And she wasn't being a pure devotee, so she was fault finding from the material platform. But everything she said was with the right intention.
Jai.
Let her move. Let her move.
Yeah.
That's great matrimonial advice. Let her move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let her
Right.
move, please.
Let her move.
Yeah. So if your wife ever comes and gives you a runaround, you can
Let her move.
say, do you what my guru suggested I should say to a woman who it gives me a runaround like you're doing? What? What did your guru have to say? Oh, let her move.
Let her move.
Haribol.
Haribol.
What else could be said, you know?
Chai.
Mine moves from the time she wakes up to the time she goes to bed.
Mooing, yeah.
That's life in the big city.
Haribol.
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 Haribol. So, what's next?
Another meeting.
Tomorrow.
Wow. We were supposed to do Saturday and Sunday and Wednesday only.
Yes. I think we should skip to, not skip. We should stay like this for some time because, we try to cultivate, or what would you call, cultivate this mood by reading Prabhupada's books, conversations, spontaneously expressing from the level of the jiva. Let's practice that, in our everyday dealings with, other jivas, other living entities.
Yeah. That's good. But do you want to keep the same days? I thought the weekends you need to spend more time with your children.
Yeah, is it okay if we change it here? We have the core group here. Manu Prabhu, you're okay?
Yeah. Don't ask me.
You're the boss. You're the boss, Ramachandra.
I'm retired.
Ramachandra
change the
Singh
dates.
Babu.
Yes, Bhanu Prabhu. Why don't you decide and let us know, Bhanu Prabhu? You decide what would be good, and then.
What are the best considering Bhanu? Well, Bhanu would be on the weekends. Bhanu would be the moderator if you're spending time with your kids, right?
Yes. So if Saturdays and Sundays are fine, Bhanu Prabhu can do that.
But why don't we ask Bhanu what are the best days of the week for him?
Yes, Bhanu Prabhu.
Bhanu.
I think Friday and Saturday for me a bit maybe not.
Okay, so
Work would be going on at the house.
The reason why I suggested
the maid would be doing some work.
You said Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, not Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Friday and Saturday.
Huh?
Friday and Saturday, Prabhu.
Not Sunday.
Yeah, not Sunday.
You have to go to church, right?
2 days a week. 2 days a week.
Any other day.
No, three.
I can adjust on Friday and Saturday also, but
Friday, Saturday, Wednesday.
Does Wednesday not work for anybody?
My schedule is constantly
I said
changing.
Saturday and Sunday for the simple reason that that's when people are generally not working. But it doesn't make a difference to me.
So if it's Saturday in the USA, it's Sunday in India. Saturday would go fine.
Oh, so you say Friday, Saturday would be the same as Saturday and Sunday here.
Yeah.
So you're saying from the
Indian days.
Sacramento, from the Sacramento point of view, you're saying Saturday and Sunday, right?
Right.
Which for India would be Friday and Saturday. So is Friday a bad day for people in India?
No, I'm telling according to me, I'm saying.
Yeah, according to you.
In my circumstances.
If they go to school, if they have a job.
So for us, it would be Sunday.
Well, for us, Saturday and Sunday would be Friday and Saturday for Bhanu.
No. For us, Saturday and Sunday is Sunday and Monday.
Sunday and Monday for me, 12 hours ahead.
Sunday and Monday for Bhanu.
What about those of us in Italy?
Who is in Italy?
Those of us in Rome, Italy.
Italiano.
Italia.
That we'll have to get someone from that place, and then
Yeah, I'm gonna find somebody.
please do it. Do it.
Good, good.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
And give a good source for buffalo mozzarella
Jai.
and linguine.
Linguini.
Linguini, mamma.
So I think what is the conclusion, Bhanu Prabhu?
Friday, Saturday, and
So Sunday, one is Sunday, another.
Well, if we can get California Sunday or Saturday off the chart, then Ramachandra can take part more vigorously.
Well, right now it's fine. I'm just trying to see maybe in the future for the next few weeks. I think it'll be okay. You know.
Okay. Everything's okay for me as long as I know about it in advance.
Okay. All right. So the consensus is let's keep it till next meeting, and then we can discuss offline also what days we can.
Yeah.
so
Sounds
what are we
excellent.
doing? Friday, Saturday, and what?
No, Saturday, Sunday, and Wednesday.
Very good.
What is Wednesday in Banu's world?
Thursday.
Is that a good or a bad day for Banu?
Yeah, that's work. No problems.
No problems.
No problems.
Right.
So
Hare
do you think that
Krishna.
Sunday we could go from California time to Tuesday
Next.
and Thursday, or Wednesday and Thursday, or Tuesday and Wednesday?
It doesn't make the difference what time it is when it's Krishna consciousness.
Try.
Yes.
Aye.
So let's keep it simple. Let's keep it Saturday, Sunday in Sacramento. That would be Saturday, Sunday, Los Angeles, and then Sunday, Monday for Bhanu Prabhu.
As well as Wednesday,
As well
which
as
will be
Wednesday.
Thursday for Banu.
So it's Sunday, Monday, and Thursday for me.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Right.
not Dharma.
Jai.
So
Hare Krishna, Matthew Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Jai.
Peace to you.
Mahaprabhuji. Mahaprabhu?
Amen.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Sicily.
Hmm.
I think Sicily, you know how recently all of these Muslims came to and populated all over Europe, like
Yes.
Germany, where they have a low birth rate, so they brought some high birth rate people into there to fill
Yes.
the jobs. Sicily, after Ferdinand and Isabella drove all the Jews out, I bet you a lot of them came to Sicily and were forced to convert to Catholicism. So that may be that the mafia started out as a Jewish organization.
Could be.
Hard to say. Except the mafia originated in the United States to retaliate against the brutality of the Irish who had come out of their servitude of, indentured 7 years of indentured service and became policemen and were torturing and tormenting the Italians. So the mafia was formed in America, at least that branch of the mafia was formed in America to wipe out the Irish policemen.
Okay.
Anyhow, I didn't need to say that tonight.
Anyways, I think let's end it here. We have had a wonderful Krishna conscious discussion.
Fantastic.
Let's try to keep this up and invite more devotees, part and parcel, Krishna, individual.
Jai. So the
Hare
more we
Krishna
talk,
Prabhuji.
let me only predict, or not predict, but announce, I would say,
Mhm.
that the more we talk from this platform, individual philosophers speaking from the individual spiritual platform that we are ourselves, that will attract people that are yearning for that. And eventually, if we keep this up, all the disciples or initiates in ISKCON will yearn for that as well.
Hmm.
I would say in the end, there will not be a clash, but a conversion. I mean, it's not going to be like the Protestants clashing with the Catholics. Right now, they're like Catholics, but because what we're doing is not Protestant, it's originalist. So we're going to the original platform.
Yeah.
Shreya Prabhu has just joined.
Who?
Shreya Prabhu.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
I had on the tip of my tongue, wanted to ask about Shreya.
Well, she just
Shreya,
came on.
Shreya Prabhu was here. Well, let's give her 2 minutes
Yes.
to say something, because is there a reason she could not come on sooner, or she didn't think we would be on sooner?
Shreya Prabhuhi.
Hare Krishna.
Wow. Hey.
Shreya, I thought we drove you off in terror from the chaotic. You know, people were talking crazy, and
It
you
was
were
quite a
getting
night.
the absolutely sane answers from what I would say, Madhyam Adhikari quality answers to people saying crazy stuff.
Mhm.
But now all the crazy people have become sane. So now, hey, welcome back.
Haribol.
Yeah.
Hari
Thank
bol,
you.
Shreya.
So we have had a wonderful discussion about what did we have a discussion about? So we were just
The
we,
four
about
types
the-
of love.
4 types of love, yes. And then Prabhupada's letter to Rupanuga Prabhu. So if you have time, maybe you can watch it if you have
Yes,
time.
I'll definitely do that. Yep.
And then there's a conversation with Ishan Prabhu on our WhatsApp group. If you want to hear, you can hear that also. That's very enlivening. And many things that we have discussed here are also discussed in that.
It amazes me, because what you've described Ishan this talks about, he's the only other person besides me that talks about these things.
Yes.
Maybe somebody else does, but I would like to meet them.
Yeah.
Sure, that's what I'd like.
Yes. Definitely.
Shreya
Hey.
Prabhuhi.
So how do we get Ishan on this program?
He's a bit reclusive. So and
He what?
he's I'll try my best to get him on Zoom. He said call him personally and then take it from there. So I'm just following the steps.
You say he's living in New Mexico or something of that sort?
Yes, New Mexico. Yes.
Well, that makes it easy for him.
Yes, he's
Easier than India, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
that'll be wonderful.
Yes. So,
And if his
Straight-
wife is of the same caliber, then she can come on also.
yes. Yes.
Ronald Prabhu, I'm so sorry I couldn't attend the last
It's
2
okay.
meetings of this.
It's okay.
That-
Everything is archived. We archive.
Working on the website. So we basically crossed 45,000 in registrations for the next batch. That is why we were all just totally stuck up in all that work. That is why I was exhausted.
Very nice. You're busy.
What is she doing? I missed it. What did she say?
Sure, Prabhu, maybe you can explain it and what
Well, can
Well,
you
I'm working on building a website for one of the ISKCON temples, and so they are actually doing 18 days program for the Bhagavad Gita course, and we just crossed 45,000 registrations, and because of which all the volunteers are totally busy. So that is why we were exhausted, and I could not attend to the meeting on time.
Oh, I see. Well, what you're doing is absolutely wonderful, absolutely transcendently wonderful. It's as much needed as water on a desert island by people that haven't drunk water in 2 weeks.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So it
That's
was
wonderful.
because
But
I even
can
got
you
in
think-
contact
Can
with you all.
you think in terms of getting them somehow or other interested in the topics that we're dealing with here too? The same people, not the same program. Hello?
Shreya Prabhupada.
Yes, I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question, please?
What did Krishna do for you today?
He said, go talk to all your friends. They must be missing you. So I came.
Hari Bol.
Oh,
Hari Hari.
then we know that it was Krishna talking to you.
So
not
is Bhanu Prabhu
Devi.
feeling better now? Or still in the same?
No, Bhanu Prabhu has transcended. He has transcended to the next level of consciousness.
If you see you see a current photograph of Bhanu showing his feet, you'll see they are several inches off the ground.
Yeah.
So I actually posted in the group about the video Srila Prabhupada was saying, and I thought it was somewhere in connection to what we were talking. It's all about that personal progress in life that matters most. You don't have to worry about the rest of it, and that will be taken care of by Krishna itself.
Yes, that's what Bhanu Prabhu said today, actually.
Okay. So welcome back, Bhanu Prabhu. Next time you're angry, you can definitely tell us and leave.
No, I was just seeking answers, and later.
I know. That is
Into that.
exactly the same reaction we've all done in the past, I'm sure. There were times when I will go on questioning my mom, my dad, and whoever comes to try to tell me about the God and the philosophies. I'll ask them all funny questions, and they will be like, "Oh my God, this kid will never stop asking questions." So I've been through your phase, so yeah, I get it. And we are definitely angry when we don't get answers, and an answer just because it's an answer is not sufficiently convincing. It has to convince that and it has to mellow you down. Until then, I know how the turmoil is in the heart. So yes.
Exactly.
But Shreya, the way you're speaking right now tonight is exactly what we were concluding how we want to be speaking at all times. As an individual spirit soul, not as a member of a group, not as a function, but as the Jiva himself, as an independent philosopher, speaking from the platform of being the words coming from Krishna by realization as much as we can, which is what Istagosthi is, not from memory or remembering what I read in a book or something like that. The book brings us to this point. At this point, we can speak. Okay? So thank you. You came in, sailing in with exactly what we came up with tonight.
Hare Krishna.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Jai.
Beautiful.
So tomorrow night also we're on?
Yes.
So
Definitely.
what time? What time?
About probably 7:30, 8 o'clock. Let's go for that. Unless I'm sleeping again.
That'll be what time in India on Monday?
Bhanu Prabhu? Morning. Same time.
Well, can Shreya get on with us?
I'll definitely try to be a part of it.
Right.
Just that it is our morning hours and breakfast time, so that can be a little chaotic here. That's all.
No worries.
So I will definitely try to be a part. Yes.
Right.
It's chaotic
I love
everywhere.
the fact that I can be open and talk to you guys and ask you all my doubts, and there's so many questions because of which I go back and do a little bit of research to get answers. So this is what I wanted, and I'm happy to be a part of the team. So anytime I get a chance, I'll definitely listen in, and I'll be a part of this conversation.
Right.
And we want all of the persons initiated in ISKCON by Kinestadakaris to say exactly what you're saying, and then this movement will become what Prabhupada intended it to be.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Shri Prabhu, as far as I'm concerned, you could not have spoken better, and you actually summed up our entire meeting with your words in the few sentences you just uttered. Thank you. We offer our obeisances to you and our blessings as well.
Jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
All right. So let's end it at that note and then chant Hare Krishna and be happy.
Hare Krishna.
All glory to Srila Prabhupada.
All glory to Srila Prabhupada.